doctrine of peace through strength, the hegemon's prerogative. A look at the US and China's adoption of deterrence. Peace through strength is an approach to foreign policy where a country pursues the accumulation and display of military power on the world stage because it is assumed that this is the best way to secure global peace and provide the most amenable conditions for diplomacy to be conducted. Currently, this is the approach of the United States as the hegemonic power in a unipolar world order. However, the policy of peace through strength has been adopted across history from empires and monarchies to liberal democracies for millennia. In the 1st century AD, the Roman Emperor Hadrian became one of the first to adopt a policy of peace through strength. His deployment of permanent fortifications and military posts along the empire's borders epitomized his belief that stability, peace, and preparedness result from the accumulation and public display of military strength. In the 5th century AD, Vegetius, a writer of the late Roman Empire, put great emphasis on the importance of military organisation and preparedness in his work concerning military matters, where he wrote, "If you want peace, prepare for war." In Plato's laws, the philosophy is also mentioned. He advocates citizens adopt a normative duty to prepare for the possibility of future wars as part of achieving the good life. The idea of peace through strength seems timeless, as old as any civilization, BC or AD, used in societies that are economically developed or developing, not constrained to a single era or epoch or geographical location or culture. However, in this essay, the focus will be to explore the impact that the policy peace through strength has had on two particular countries: the current hegemonic power, the United States, and the USA's main rival, economically, politically, and militarily, as the 21st century develops, China. Let's explore a brief history of peace through strength as a doctrine that has guided US foreign policy thinking. From the foundation of the Republic in the late 18th century to the present day, the United States has explicitly and implicitly ensured that a policy of peace through strength is expressed in the country's behaviour towards other nations, as well as in the executive's rhetoric. George Washington articulated the policy in his 1793 State of the Union address. "If we desire to secure peace, it must be known that we are at all times ready for war." During the Cold War, the USA aggressively adopted a policy of deterrence under Reagan to combat the USSR, which has been cited for forcing the Soviet Union to lose the arms race. Contemporarily, during the Trump administration, the idea of peace through strength has been cited as essential in Donald Trump's America First foreign policy and was referenced explicitly in the USA's 2018 National Defense Strategy. US foreign policy makers have been making the case for peace through strength as a way of normatively justifying maintaining the US as the sole hegemonic power in the global system. This is because they argue that this status quo brings about the most peace and stability to the global community. Proponents of the theory of hegemonic stability argue that this is true due to their assumptions about the nature of international politics and how it operates. They are realists in a theoretical sense, believing that international relations is a zero-sum game, a game of competition between nation-states, that there exists no institutions or ideals above the nation-state, and that the global system is in a state of anarchy. However, there does seem to be a logical contradiction between policies of strength and the search for order, stability, and peace, which requires accommodation and compromise. The USA yearning to maintain global hegemony for the sake of unipolar stability may in reality be a veneer for expansionist and militaristic policy aims. A peace through strength approach to foreign policy by the US may be producing the opposite. Strength cannot create peace. Whilst military strength can prevent an attack and possibly deter large-scale aggression, it risks building the exact resistance and resentment that fosters insecurity and violence, this decreasing overall global stability and the prospect of global peace. Currently, the USA is still considered to be the global hegemon, economically and militarily, with abundant resources and power, hard and soft. However, the rise of China since the late 1970s to the present day has caused the USA to worry about its dominant position. As time passes and China looks more and more likely to become tomorrow's hegemon, the state is solidifying its own peace through strength policy, an approach similar to that of the US. China has developed an understanding that a strong military and strong economy is needed in order to achieve its strategic aims. This achieved through long-term military modernization and economic reform. As stated in its white paper on China's military strategy, published in 2015, the state is using the same language as Washington. Without a strong military, a country cannot be safe nor strong. However, issues and tension have been rising and are likely to increase between the two nations as the competitive superpowers become more standoffish as a result of adopting similar peace through strength approaches to military expansionism. The internal logic of peace through strength is that it fosters a psychological battle based on the threat of force between a state and its adversaries, whereby peace is maintained through sustained deterrence. However, the incongruity of the adoption of a peace through strength approach by both China and the USA simultaneously as they bid for a position of global geopolitical hegemony is causing increased antagonism and increased distrust as competition increases. This resulting in tension being intensified, flames being fanned more vigorously, and the risk of conflict escalating. So instead of a policy of deterrence making the world a safer place, its deployment by the USA and China risks making the prospect of global stability and peace more difficult to achieve. With both countries increasing their powerful militaries and desiring to maintain regional stability or dominance in areas of geopolitical importance, the risk of confrontation increases. Even though there was great commonality between the approaches of the USA and China in relation to their policies of deterrence, misunderstanding can occur. When one power misinterprets the actions or behavior of the other, events can turn hostile. Currently, the United States views its actions in the South China Sea as a deterrent in nature. It does not attribute similar aims to China's activities, whereas China sees the USA's presence in the South China Sea as an infringement on Chinese sovereignty and argues it has an historical right over the territory. Only time will tell if a strength through peace strategy can work preventing war in the 21st century between China and the US, as in reality the opposite may occur. This is because deterrence may fail and war escalation may be triggered if one mishandles a complex situation like the territorial disputes in the South China Sea.